And just like that, the final episode of the recording session has begun. Welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. I am your host, MegaShadowFist, I suck at video games, I suck at commentary, and when we last left off, we were talking to Bobby Fulbright, the mysterious person with brand new testimony of 7 years. So let's go ahead and continue. I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackwell. She says she's too busy, what with this confining and threatening the hostage and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in through clone core. I'm nothing more than observing this. Do your best, I'm watching you. Believing her brother innocent, Miss Blackwell has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. I have here Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving testimony based on these notes. Here I go. Witness testimony. Aura Blackwell's theory. Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time they say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why had the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Cykes. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. It totally goes in the face of the official ruling, huh? About the case she mentions, there were other ruling cases like that one in the lab. But they're not for traveling. They're apparently for moving parts and equipment. I vaguely remember seeing the 3 cases, all different sizes. At the last trial, they thought that Prosecutor Blackwell used the case to steal the rock. Wait, what do you mean vaguely remember? That was only like an hour or two ago. Gotta love that, defense attorney memory. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that too. You see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. And that camera captured footage of Blackwell leaving the scene with the case. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure. 7-year-old video updated in the court record. Video showing the corridor to the crime scene. Blackwell was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime. You see, the problem was that they captured it in VHS. If they used Betamax like they should have with the higher quality, they would see that there's more to this than meets the eye. Right, ladies and gentlemen? What's a Betamax? How can you be so, uncultured, ladies and gentlemen? The Betamax, it's Sony, right? You know, JVC did the VHS. They were at the competing platforms, but, the VHS won despite the fact that the Betamax was higher quality because things. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant Athena Cykes found? Although actually I believe that technically Sony invented the VHS and it was called Alpha. But anyway, we're not getting into semantics here. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant Athena Cykes found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center in the Cykes family residence. Prosecutor Blackwell most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Cykes is at the estimated time of death. Miss Cykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony, and there was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been. So what you're saying is, Miss Cykes didn't have an alibi. That is what the evidence is saying, yes. I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far from convinced. The victim is the accused mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl? Of course the girl had a very strong motive. Dr. Cykes is a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotions. You're aware of Athena Cykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor? Are you referring to that therapy thing? Yeah, she's done it quite a few times in court. The ability to read emotions from speech, and the subject of her mother's research. Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it. I don't like where this is heading. Not one bit. Dr. Cykes is so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting? I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of this experiments. Miss Cykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother. Order! Order in the court! What a tragic story. I hardly want to believe it myself. But we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could. Detective Fulbright, please refer to the notes. Okay. Cross-examination. Aura Blackwell's theory. First and foremost, I aware that I'm a lawyer. Let's go ahead and save over slot 2. Yes, please. Okay. Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. So Prosecutor Blackwell willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else. Yes, that is precisely what Miss Blackwell appears to believe. And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackwell's no murderer, Mr. Wright. But Athena Cykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, okay. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine. I expected no less. Oh, I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating. Invigorating? I wonder if that's what he said in the Japanese version. I'm only reading notes here, but yeah, I feel extra invigorated too. So let's keep going. Someone else was at the scene at the time they say Simon committed the murder. But that's just speculation. Objection! Holy crap, that objection is so deep. No, I don't like it. No, Miss Blackwell has proper grounds for her claims. Objection! Then why didn't you say so in the first place? Objection! You're the one who screamed, "Hold it!" and cut me off. Fine, so maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why have the rolling case? This rolling case, I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo with Prosecutor Blackwell in it, but was absent when the crime scene photos were taken. Yes, that's the one, and Miss Blackwell has drawn a conclusion from these two photos. She has! And what is that conclusion? You're the one with her notes. Oh, right. Of course. Reading them now. So why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside, that's why. Hold it! Hold it, please. And how do you propose he hid a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we saw just the thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show. She fit a grown person inside a small box. Oh yeah! Way to ruin the memory of a good day. A magic show? I wish you would have thought to invite me! Actually, I would have liked to go too! My apologies. I'll invite you both next time, I promise. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? Prosecutor Black was using the case to hide someone. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Cykes. I think we should press that second to last one again. But that's nothing more than conjecture, and it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackwell had in that case? I think it was the moon rock. Objection! There were 3 cases at the scene, but Prosecutor Blackwell is the largest one. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case there just to move that rock. Objection! Be that as it may, it doesn't prove Miss Cykes was inside. Then let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in the case? Well, Mr. Wright, can you? Yikes. Give a guy some time to think. Let's see. Should I try to bluff my way through what could have been in that case? Let's not bluff right now, hold on. I guess I better wait and see how it goes. It's a clever theory, but it doesn't look like they have any solid proof. If I push, maybe I can uncover some flaws in it. Let me press this one a second time. Cause usually the way that it is, although I don't think they did this in Apollo Justice, but there's always one case in each game where you have to press a statement twice. And I'm wondering if this is one of those cases. And, okay, nope, it doesn't look like it. Cause he was like, oh, what were we talking about again? So I was like, maybe, just maybe I should... Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and press this one. Go ahead and press this.
Objection!
Alright, let's bluff. I know exactly what Prosecutor Black will care from the scene. We do! I just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat. Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory. If it's true, that is. This is a crime scene photo taken after Prosecutor Blackwell left, correct? All I have to do is compare this with this photo of Prosecutor Blackwell to see what's missing. If he took something with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Well, wouldn't it be the, No, that's there. Okay. There's like this little, like, robot arm thing. Like, that's not there, I don't think. Maybe that? There's her jacket. I don't know. Yeah, it's gotta be the robot arm thing. That's what I'm thinking. And the screwdriver. Although the screwdriver's actually in there, isn't it? I mean, there's no way the screwdriver is what we're gonna look for, but you know, yeah, it's not there. If he took something with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Lady Luck, don't fail me now. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let us hear your theory. What did Prosecutor Blackwell take from the scene of the murder? This it looks like, this whatever it is.
Take that!
Please notice that there is a robot part on the top of the card in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime. You do appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. But it's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? Speaking of which... What are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball. Stingy, stingy. What happened to the age of free previews? Your Honor, about this robot part. Doesn't it look like it could be an arm for that robot there? Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But that case is still too big to be practical for just the moon rock and a robot arm. But was it really just the one arm that was in there? If it wasn't Athena in the case, then maybe. I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like the one here. Your Honor, it is the defense's assertion that it was this other robot that was in the case. What?
Objection!
We can't be certain that part belonged to a robot. Yes, it looks like the arm of one before us, but it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandaging, making it difficult to verify what it is.
Objection!
I know for a fact that it is a robot arm. I can even tell which robot it belongs to, just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not. But Mr. Wright, I thought you were more of a technologically illiterate type. When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned. Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot the arm belonged to. The knife! Okay, so... what piece of evidence exactly? Do we need to present this again? Hold on, It's red with the whatchamacallit. Oh! No. This proves that which robot the arm belongs to. Wait, hold on, let me... Oh, okay.
Take that!
The robot in this picture is named Punkel. But take a look at Punko's arm. It was Miss Cykes who bandaged it up like that. She must have thought that machine told him the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. The robot arm at the crime scene had the same bandaging wrapped around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Punko. Time for some old trials and tribulations and objection theme going. Order in the court! Order, I say! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this? I can see that the robot is about the same size as a child, but it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it was the largest of the cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there. The case comes up? Okay, Judge. The case comes up to about mid-thigh in Prosecutor Blackwell. Also, I can't speak English. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that. They've got me there. So then, did Prosecutor Blackwell make Punko fit into the case by dismantling her, compacting her? Of course Punko would fit. All Prosecutor Blackwell had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside the rolling case. It appears to be a robot assembly device.
Disassemble anything in a flash! Push the dismantle button! That sounds pretty neat! Can I push it, Mr. Nick?
It sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point there.
Objection!
Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
But what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used instead? That would explain why there's blood on the bandage. You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I'd like your opinion as a woman of science. Isn't it true that a katana could have been used to take the robot apart? No, that is not true. Like, I know, like, it's a super legendary sword and everything, but you can't just... No, it doesn't work like that. I suppose so. Their joints aren't made of a very tough material. A blade could slice through them. Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackwell. Thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Punko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Punko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't mean... That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see on where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the blade of katana. Most likely, the rest of Punko is scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet. Not hearing this? Therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot. Miss Cykes never was at the scene at the time of the murder.
Ah! My head! My body! Where am I? Gah!
Order in the court! It's true that Punko was found in pieces after the murder, and I'll admit I repaired him myself afterwards. Photo of the crime updated in the court record. The photo shows Blackwell taking the robot apart. There's a blood stain on the end of the robot's arm. Yes, I'm finally making some progress. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer to proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell innocent.
Objection!
Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I can see that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. Alright, what's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight. Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that the defendant was carried from this scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Punko and Miss Cykes couldn't have both been inside that case.
Objection!
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Cykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I've finally had the opportunity to voice my theory. Thanks to the defense. Edgeworth. He's been one step ahead of me this whole time. As per usual. In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in the front of his body, as if he were holding something or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The surcoat Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. The victim's blood was found in the front of it, and the stain has a highly distinctive shape. A bloodstain with a distinctive shape. Please continue, Prosecutor Blackwell, or Prosecutor Edgeworth. 7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item, of which there is only one in the world, a special pair of headphones made just for her. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her, as part of her research. Analysis showed the bloodstain to be in the exact same shape as these headphones. In other words, this was no mere blood splatter. This just seems like an overcomplicated Rorschach test to me. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones, and then was imprinted onto Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp. A most gruesome stamp indeed. Blackwell carried Miss Cykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Cykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument.
Nah!
Order! If the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection!
But we've also shown that the robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that, no, but you can't say the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turned out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Punko to the stand. A robot witness? Nah, we had weirder. Order! Order in the court! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this? Miss Wright has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. So why not a robot? Nothing surprises me anymore with him. Very well, I'll allow the witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Punko. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is not Witness. My name is Punko.
Yes, I realize that. But when you are at the witness stand, you are the witness.
No, I am not. I am Punko. Say it with me. Punko.
What an utterly inflexible little robot. I figured every single time, with the exception of D. Vasquez, they're always trouble with them. You're the last person who should be calling anybody inflexible. Haha! You remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Will we ever see this grandchild of his? Alright, Punko. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions?
I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Miss Cykes. It was 7 years ago on the 7th of October around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab.
Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab.
It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all. This is great. I just knew Punko must have seen something important. I don't know. A murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable. The judge seems ready to adopt Punko as another grandchild. So, little Punko, do you think you can give us your testimony today? Little Punko? He probably called her, like, Punko-chan in the Japanese version, assuming Punko is the Japanese name. I think so, Punko and Kuronko. That's probably what the Japanese names are. I don't think that they had, like, anything else. Witness testimony. What I saw.
I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis, and then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room, and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There's no data after that point.
Well, it sounds like the defendant was, without question, at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that this witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So what are you suggesting? The witness's statement need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged, and then later, fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. True. They don't, but... Yes, what this witness's statement are telling us is... that the defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What?! Before Miss Cykes hugged Dr. Cykes, did the two of them converse?
Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena's usually so quiet, so I was surprised.
Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued. I see. Murdered after a heated argument, and then the victim fell down. I'd like to go to the Japanese version and see how Punko talks, cause like in the Japanese version, cause like Japanese, due to the nature of the language, you can make things a lot more stylized than you can in English. So I'm kind of wondering, like, how Punko talked in the Japanese version. Cause they're putting emphasis right here on the fact that Punko is like using little kid words, right? So from my experience, translating Japanese to English and whatnot, this like in reading Genetsu's localization papers, it's kind of making me raise a few question marks. That's not a figure of speech. I don't know. I see. Murder after a heated argument, and then the victim fell down. I agree that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Punko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that.
When I'm recharging, I go into the sleep mode, but I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory.
You may as well admit defeat now, Wright. A cross-examination would be useless. You've said that before, Edgeworth. Don't be ridiculous. A cross-examination is never useless. Until now. Think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Just because someone doesn't think they're lying, we've had this thing before. Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about wasting time. Very well. Even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright. I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Cross-examination. What I saw. What you saw! Avant-garde. Let's go ahead and save over slot 2. If you don't mind. So, let's go ahead and return to title. Or return to sender, whichever you prefer. Tap the screen. And with that, let me get a stretch that way and a stretch that way. I suppose we can end things off here. So, what did you think of this, ladies and gentlemen? Well, actually, I don't even know why I asked these questions, because it seems like everyone that's watching this has already played the game. So, it kind of makes it kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit, because I can't ask people's opinions about things because they already know what's going on. Now, well, no big deal. But yeah, I honestly don't think, I wasn't expecting, Athena for us to defend Athena for this case. I thought we were going to defend her for the next case, because I thought we were going to defend Blackwell and then Athena. No big deal. But, yeah, I suppose we can end things off here. So, if you like this video, this series of videos, please feel free to leave a like if you thought it was cool. Please feel free to subscribe and join Team Strawberry today. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MegaShadowFist. I'll be sure to leave that in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is MegaShadowFist signing out. Bye!